There would be two segments. If you divide the larger segment by the smaller one and get 1.618, then the two segments are in the golden ratio to each other. This number is called the golden ratio, or also the golden number. You always get this number when the larger segment divided by the smaller segment is the same as the whole segment divided by the larger segment. So the ratio of A to the whole must be the same as the ratio of B to A. Then you have the golden ratio. Segment A must be 61.8% and B 38.2% of the whole. The golden ratio cannot be represented as a fraction of whole numbers, so it is irrational. If you take the reciprocal of the golden number, that is, 1 divided by 1.618 and so on, you get 0.618 and so on. So only the digit before the decimal point is different. Instead of a 1, there is now a 0. No other number has this property. Also, is the golden number the only number that can be represented using only ones? And that is through an infinitely long continued fraction made up of only ones? You can easily construct the golden ratio geometrically yourself. You draw a line segment from A to B and construct a perpendicular on it with half the length, then connect this point C to A so that you have a triangle. Now, using a compass placed at C, you cut the segment AC with a radius equal to CB. Now take the distance from A to this intersection point as the radius and draw a circle around A so that it intersects AB. This way, you divide segment AB by the golden ratio. Since ancient Greek times, segment ratios in the golden ratio have been considered the epitome of aesthetics and harmony. Scientists have been fascinated for centuries by the fact that the golden ratio can be found in nature. It is often used in art and architecture. It also appears in music. For example, the golden ratio has been found in some musical pieces' structural concepts. Should we imagine it like that without going into more detail now? That the number of bars in individual sections of the form create ratios that approximate the golden ratio, so they come close to the golden ratio. There are also deliberate examples of proportioning using the Fibonacci numbers. The astronomer Kepler called the golden ratio a great treasure. When two things or lengths are in the golden ratio to each other, the whole package is perceived as beautiful. Many scientific tests confirm this. Certain ratios make things visually pleasing. Studies with test subjects using rectangles showed that, when it comes to beauty, people usually choose the golden rectangles, meaning the rectangles whose side lengths are in the golden ratio. Of course, designers make use of this, for example. Modern televisions are built close to this ratio. Some computer screens are built in a 16:10 ratio, which is almost the golden ratio. The golden ratio was used in famous ancient structures such as the pyramids of Giza. The golden ratio is widely used in modern architecture. If there is a geometric figure that represents the golden ratio, it would probably be the pentagram or the regular pentagon. The side of a regular pentagon, for example, is in the golden ratio to its diagonals. The pentagram is one of the oldest symbols in cultural history. For every line segment and subsegment in the pentagram, there is a counterpart that stands in the golden ratio to it. You could keep drawing pentagrams inside the inner pentagon of the pentagram, and the same thing would apply regarding the golden ratio. This so-called ideal proportion is understandably used in art. One of the most famous examples is the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, in which the golden ratio has been demonstrated. Even more interesting is this drawing by da Vinci, the so-called Vitruvian Man. The ratio of the square's side to the circle's radius corresponds to the golden ratio. Leonardo da Vinci shows here that, with the right posture, a person fits exactly into the shape of a square, and the center of the square is located at the crotch. The same applies to the circle. Its center is then at the navel. Therefore, it is widely assumed that this is the depiction of the human in the golden ratio. What Da Vinci apparently already knew back then, most people still don't know today. That's why we'll come back to the golden ratio in humans at the end of the video. The golden ratio appears very often in nature. For example, in the symmetry of leaves. If you divide 360 degrees by the golden ratio, you get the golden angle of 137.5 degrees. For instance, sunflower seeds are arranged at this angle. The arrangement of leaves, also called phyllotaxis, also follows this system, which prevents exact overlaps from occurring. Other examples include pine needles, types of cabbage, roses, and so on. The reasons for such arrangements, which we talked about in the last episode, have not been fully confirmed. There are possible explanations for it, but since, for most occurrences in nature, it is still an open question and these theories do not fit, it may also just be attempts by scientists to find an explanation for this phenomenon. Whether it has reasons related to growth, or if it is simply pure aesthetics and beauty that nature displays, is an unresolved but extremely interesting question. We learned about the golden spiral in the last video. Here we find golden rectangles that are next to the squares. Apparently, the golden ratio has something to do with the Fibonacci numbers. If you divide a Fibonacci number by its predecessor, you get almost 1.618. Using higher Fibonacci numbers yields a more accurate golden ratio value. So, this sequence of quotients of neighboring Fibonacci numbers converges to the golden ratio. This was a fascinating realization. Apparently, there is more order in nature than we think. This unique number can also be found in the perfect geometry of snowflakes. Even in every DNA spiral, this golden ratio can be found. Our body proportions also correspond to the golden ratio. Our navel is actually at the golden ratio. The lower body relates to the upper body in the same way as the entire body relates to the lower body. The same applies to our fingers, arms, feet, legs, and our face. So, humans were designed in the most beautiful way. After discovering the golden ratio in nature, etc. After its discovery, physicists started searching for it in space. Apart from the fact that the spiral pattern appears here again, the orbits of Venus and Earth are in a ratio of 8:13. These are two consecutive Fibonacci numbers, so it is close to the golden ratio. Venus and Earth regularly meet again at 5 points. If you observe the sequence in which these meeting points follow one another, you can see that they form exactly a pentagram. Venus and Earth dance a pentagram. And now we know what the pentagram has to do with the golden ratio. We have to be interested in why such order emerged from an originally created chaos. People have wondered about the Earth's golden ratio. The ratio of the distance from Mecca to the North Pole to the distance from Mecca to the South Pole is exactly 1.618. So, the golden ratio of the distance from the North Pole to the South Pole is exactly in Mecca. Mecca is the place where the Holy Kaaba is located, where Muslims gather. In addition, on the world map, the ratio of the eastern extension to the western extension is again 1.618. Additionally, the ratio of the distance of the diagonal from west to east is also 1.618. So you could say that the golden ratio of the Earth is located in Mecca.